Hello, and welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I am Stacey Earlywine, having difficulty with the old remote control. Why anybody gives me any type of technology,
I don't know,
it's shocking.
Normally you do a good job. I'm not going to complain.
I think it was our pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to blame the metal pumpkin.
Sure.
Well,
how are you?
I'm great. My favorite time of year is upon us.
It's October.
I love October.
Yay. You guys, we have such a fun October planned for this show because we are going to do so many fun Halloween and fall themed episodes. And I'm excited.
I am too. I'm just ready for it to cool down. I got so hot yesterday. Of course, I'm menopausal, so I have hot flashes and stuff. But holy Moses.
Yeah.
Apple knocker, I'm about melted.
Like 2 more days, we can do it. It's by the time this show airs, it will be cool.
Are we supposed to get a break?
Yes, it's coming through like Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and then the high on Thursday is only going to be like 70.
How's it coming through? Is it coming through just like a...
I hope we have a big old storm.
Oh my God.
Not a dangerous storm, okay? Like nothing like no one's homes are damaged.
I love a good storm.
Good old thunderstorm.
Boy,
makes
I'll
me happy.
sit on my back porch and watch it. Yeah, as long as nobody gets hurt or nothing gets burned down with lightning. But boy, I like a good thunder.
Me too.
Popper.
Me
I always
too.
have. I've been weird. Yeah, I was that type of person. Like you see all those people make fun of, like, people in the Midwest. There's a tornado coming. We're on our front porch.
Yeah,
I just think it's crazy how that works. I would have never been a meteorologist because I don't think I would have been smart enough to do that.
Yeah,
but
I don't know about that. That's a hard job.
And
a thankless job.
Because
they're wrong a lot. They try their best, but no matter what, I'm sure everyone gives them a really hard time.
Well, because it's like, okay, so today just put the sun, a cloud, and a raindrop because you got partly cloudy with a chance of rain. I mean, you pretty much made it.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a little frisky, throw in a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
And
it could happen. I don't know. That's one job I would not want. I would not want that
I wouldn't
job.
want to be a meteorologist either.
No.
That'd be weird. Unless you're Les Nessman. Did you ever watch WKRP in Cincinnati? If that was literally one of the best sitcoms.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, some of the best things come from that show.
We'll have to talk about that in our 70th episode.
Yes, we will.
Yeah,
we're doing a fun thing like on our... We started with the 50s.
Yes.
We didn't do it with our 40th episode, but when we hit that decade mark, we dress up. We did it 50s, 60s. We've only done it twice, so the 70s...
50s. The 70s is coming up.
It is coming up, because I think this is episode 63.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. It goes by fast.
But we're just going to do some fun fall stuff and spooky stuff. We got a little bit of a spooky side to us, I guess you could say. So I went back to the old People's Home Journal. Was founded in 1885. This ad is from March 1929.
Wow. That's the year that my grandmothers were born.
Really?
Both of them. One of them is still living, Zelda DeVore. She lives in Florida. She watches our show. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma.
So she was born in 29.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. This magazine was 15 cents.
Aww.
Now you can't touch a magazine for about $15. I seriously went and bought like a fall little skinny thing. What is it? Country Living, Country Home? One of them. I love those. And
you should have just read it in the aisle. Put it back.
Well, Beth Cooper.
They're so expensive they're so skinny. It's not like they used to be. It used to be you got like a nice size magazine.
Oh, they used to be thick.
Yeah, now they're like these little 10 pages. It's like, well, by golly, I can read that while I'm in the line.
You know what my favorite part of that is? I love the house plans.
Yes.
The house plans are my favorite part. I'm telling you right now, if I wasn't a hairdresser, I would have been a real estate agent. I love houses.
I thought you were going to say architect.
No. No, I'm a stick figure drawer. Here's your house. Here's the roof. No, I would have been a real estate agent.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I love houses.
Yeah, I do too.
My mom always was interested in real estate too.
I like to go to look at houses, but mainly to be nosy. Which I think irritates the real estate agents. Sorry, guys.
Does it? Yeah, because you're like booking. Oh, I'm interested in this.
No,
house.
I don't lie. No, I don't say that. But there's been a few over the years. I'm like, I want to look at that. I just am curious. Like, what is it like inside?
Have you ever done that too? I've also done that. Like admired a house from the outside, then got on the inside and was like, oh.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of interesting. That happened to me over in Clay City one time, and I went in and I was like.
Yeah.
And then there's some of the houses that you go in and you're like, you have no idea. You don't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all fun.
Yeah, you really can't. Houses are like books. You can't judge them by the outside.
You really can't.
Because sometimes you get in there and they are way bigger inside than what you think they are. Like, I feel like my house is like that.
Your house is definitely like that.
From the outside, it doesn't really look that big, and then you get in and it's been built onto, and it's just a lot bigger than it looks.
See, I think my house, like, it depends on what angle you look at my house. My house is like two different houses. So, like, if you go on the front part of the house, it doesn't look as that Cape Cod. It doesn't look like that's big. But then, like, if you drive behind it on East Drive, it looks a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You see the bigger.
Definitely.
It's a pretty big.
Yeah.
Well, it's big when you're cleaning it.
Yeah, I bet.
Praise the Lord, cleaning ladies are there today. I gave that job up.
Good for you.
Every other week I have.
Good.
I like to. Okay, here's my ad.
Okay, yeah. Back to the ad from 1929.
1929. I picked out a Chevrolet commercial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look at this. This is so cool.
Chevrolet.
Look at this. Chevrolet, the outstanding Chevrolet of Chevrolet history. A 6 in the price range of the 4.
What?
Never before has there been such a car as the outstanding Chevrolet of Chevrolet history. Powered by a sensational new 6-cylinder valve-in-head motor, offering the beauty, style, and comfort and magnificent new bodies by Fisher. Available at prices so low as to be within easy reach of everybody everywhere, and so economical that it provides an average of better than 20 miles to the gallon of gasoline.
Oh, wowzers. So just looking at that picture.
Isn't it look at her in her fur
great.
coat.
Yeah. Like, what does this make you think of? And I'll tell you what.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, no. I was going to say Downton Abbey.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the end of Downton Abbey, they all had these cars. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It stands out as the greatest dollar-for-dollar value ever offered in any automobile, and by every standard of performance, power, speed, quietness, smoothness, comfort, economy, and handling ease. It ranks as Chevrolet's greatest achievement. Visit your Chevrolet dealer today, see and drive this sensational automobile. The Roadster, oh my gosh. Wow. The Roadster is $525. The Phaeton, $525. The Coach, $595. The Coupe, $595. The Sedan, $675. The Sport Cabriolet, $695. The convertible Landau, $725. All prices, and this is out of Flint, Michigan.
That's
Can you imagine?
Cool. What awesome prices. And look at their emblem. It's still the same today. Their bow tie, Chevrolet bow tie.
Absolutely. I love it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a very cool ad. I like it.
I liked that ad too. But yeah, I thought of when I see a lady, I just thought of Bonnie and Clyde, which is a little bit later. But they were, that's an older car. This is from the 20s. So, but you're right. It is a very Downton Abbey. Are you a Downton Abbey fan?
Oh, I love Downton Abbey.
Yeah,
one of my favorite shows ever.
Really? Do you watch Bridgerton?
No, I think you asked me that before, and I should.
See, because I liked it.
I
liked Bridgerton too, but I like Downton Abbey too.
Okay.
I'll go back and watch just because of the history of it in that house. And does that house really? It does exist.
Yeah.
That's It's
in England.
Now the tales are not real. I mean, or the story is that the real?
No,
family?
the story is all fiction. The family is different. Can't think of the name of that castle in real life. I follow it on Facebook. Like, you can follow it, and they'll show you like real pictures from it.
Yeah. See, I'm like that with Outlander and Castle LeBrock. Is that was that no Castle? What is that called? I don't know where Jamie Fraser lives because I love Outlander. Outlander is my number one favorite TV series of all time.
Really? I love
number one.
I love it, but it is not my number one.
It's my number one.
The book series is probably in my top 5.
Is it?
But the show...
Yeah, it's my number one favorite. I don't know how many times I've like literally watched it up to date like 3 or 4 times. And if I'm bored and nothing's else on, I'll go to my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple episodes that I could go back and watch for sure, but there's a couple episodes I don't care if I ever see again.
Well, I because it can be violent.
Yeah.
I fast forward through a lot of that because I like watching that.
Yeah.
I basically like watching Sam Heughan.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
So today we're going to kick off our October with. We want to do we love to do houses, but Beth and I are going to talk about a couple homes that we've both I've owned, Beth has lived in, and we are going to talk a little bit about the haunted side of houses. It's going to be a little bit different twist than what we normally do.
Yeah. So
I have some stories about mine. It's a house that we had purchased, and you actually lived in your house. But so we want to do focus on that. Beth, tell people where they can find us and ask them if to send us some things.
Yes, so you can always email us at by the way with Beth and Stacey at gmail.com. We would love to have ideas for future shows, but also if you know a great ghost story or you know a great house that we should focus on or some cool story from Clay County or the surrounding viewing area, send us a note. Let us know. We would love to have that. You can also follow us on Facebook at By the Way with Beth and Stacey, and we're on Wabash Catch TV, which is probably where you're watching us right now, every day at 11 a.m. New episodes are on Thursdays and Fridays, and we're also on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is By the Way with Beth and Stacey, and our new episodes are on YouTube on Mondays.
Mondays, yes. And if you've got a house story, even if you just love your home and you would like for us to showcase your home on By the Way with Beth and Stacey, be it haunted or not, because we like to throw in house episodes about every month. We like to do an hour for homes. But that would be awesome. And we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and tell you a couple of our haunted stories.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
And welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we are talking about ghost stories.
Yes, we are. We are going to talk about ghost stories.
We are.
And before we even dive in, I just need to say that my husband thinks I'm crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But things he has changed. Now, honestly, back before when my husband was an atheist, right? When Jim was an atheist, and we were married. Gosh, I was married to an atheist for about 12 years before Jim became a Christian, before he finally saw the light. And this is funny because before, when he was an atheist, oh my God, that doesn't exist, whatever. And now that he's a Christian, he understands the spiritual side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all, but he still thinks I'm crazy.
I think a lot of times men are just closed off to it, and they can't see it, hear it, feel it.
Well, I do think you're right.
Not all men, of course, and there's still women out there too that don't believe. And if you don't believe in ghosts, that's great. I'm happy for you that you have never encountered one or had something so weird and unexplained happen to you that you have to believe.
Right.
But so if you're not a believer in ghosts, you may think this whole episode is crazy. And I don't really care because I'm going to tell you things that really, truly happened to me. And up until that time, I didn't really believe in ghosts either.
Now, see, I've always been a weirdo and always have believed in them.
Yeah.
But never had, had not like in my face like what happened with one of the homes we had bought.
Yeah, I would say I was about 12 when the first thing happened to me. And just weird stuff along the way. And there's not really an explanation for it. And I just believe that sometimes we're not supposed to understand.
Yeah, yeah.
If we were supposed to understand, it would have been told in the
Right.
Bible. But
Right.
that's my beliefs, and we're just not supposed to understand it, but it is happening.
Do you want to go first with yours, or do you?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So
I'm dying because you've never really opened up about. I know a tiny bit about your old house, but not much.
Well, I'm going to start with even an earlier house that we lived in Harrisburg when I was around the age of 12, and I didn't have a whole lot of weird things that happened there, but I will tell you that right next to this house was a church, okay? And it was summer, and all of the kids at the church next door had just gotten out of vacation Bible school for the evening. And it's dark out, and it was probably like 9 o'clock at night. And everyone's running around the yard, catching fireflies, having fun. The adults were all in the parking lot talking. This wasn't the church that we attended, but I was friends with kids that went there. So I think I'd been invited to Vacation Bible School that night, and I also came out, and we were playing in the yard between my bedroom window and the church. And the lights were on in my room, and I could see into my room from outside. The shade was pulled, but you could still make out a little bit about what was in the room. And there was a man walking in my room, and he was a tall man in a dark black suit, and he had a black top hat on. My dad don't dress like that. Let me just say. My mom and dad were home, and they were in the living room. And I could verify that because I'd also been past the living room window when we were all running around outside playing games and
Now,
stuff.
was your brother still at home? There's an age difference.
Yeah, my brother did live
home?
there at that time, but he was not at home. I mean, he was out for the evening. And so the only two people in the house were my mom and dad, who were sitting in the living room watching television. And so me and my friend both saw this guy, and we were like, who's in your room? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to go check. So then I went in the front door, and I asked my mom and dad, like, who was back in my room? And they were like, nobody's in here. Like, it's just, and I'm like, no, there's a man in there. I just saw him. And they probably thought I was nuts. But my dad was like, come on. So we all walk back there to my room, and we do, because my room was at the very end of the hallway at the end of the house. We did a whole walk through the room. Nothing. Nobody there. Nobody there. But I saw him plain as day. Okay. So,
and your friend.
And my friend.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, like, I don't even know now if it was months or a year or what. But I was laying in my bedroom on my belly on the floor, and I had my big, this was the 80s. Okay. So I had my big stereo. Well, it might have been the early 90s. I had my big stereo on the floor there, and it had those like glass doors that you open and then you go into like your tape player or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I had the door shut, and I was like watching a tape, cassette tape in the thing rewind, and I was waiting for it to get all the way rewound. So I was glancing up at that, but in the reflection of the glass, plexiglass.
Oh no!
That same man, tall, thin man in a dark black coat with a black
Was it
top
Abraham
hat.
Lincoln?
It kind of looked like him. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of did. It wasn't him, but it was similarly dressed to Abraham Lincoln. Okay?
Holy Moses!
And similarly built like Abraham Lincoln, but different facial features. Walked in my bedroom door behind me and walked up around. It's hard to explain without knowing the layout of the room, but anyway, he walked in the door and around my bed and was headed like over near where I was, and I was just like, whoa!
Did you lose it?
Yeah, and sprinted out of there. No one was home. It was me by myself.
Oh, see, I would have. Yeah.
So I went to our next door neighbor's house and I stayed there until my mom and dad got home. And then I told them all about it and they were like, "This kid's nuts." I'm pretty sure. My mom might have believed me. My dad, he's probably watching this right now and was like, "Yeah, no,
she was crazy."
Yeah, never believed that. But I saw him twice. Same guy.
And then what? How long did you live in that house?
We didn't live there a whole lot longer after that because we moved back to Clay County when I was around 13 or 14. So it wasn't a whole lot longer there. But I always felt like, there was a man kind of in that house.
Interesting. Ooh, we should contact the people that live there now.
Mm-hmm.
And see.
Yeah, I would love to.
And see.
Like, hey, is Abraham Lincoln haunting you? And it wasn't really him, but
it wasn't Abraham Lincoln.
I would say it was from the same time period. I mean, I felt like that was what he was dressed. He had one of those black, what do they call those ties?
Those
that like two strings
ties.
Yeah. He was wearing a white shirt. He had the tie like that, and then the long black hat and the top hat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My dad tried to convince me that I had a 4-poster bed, and he tried to convince me that I just saw something that was hanging on one of my posters of my 4-poster bed. Mm-mm. Nope, because this man had a top hat and he walked around the room like
not normal.
The 4-poster beds don't move. Like, wasn't that, Dad?
Sorry, Dad.
But
it's like if you ever watch like a scary movie and it's always the women that see everything and they're like, "Oh no, it was this." It's like, I can't wait for another 45 minutes till this thing starts haunting you.
Yeah.
Men always want to justify it.
I know they want to justify it, but now that I'm a parent, like I could see like that you just want to fix things for your kids, So you just, if that means making them feel like they're completely crazy,
I'm going to fix it for you. You're crazy.
Yeah, that was
nothing.
It doesn't exist. Ignore it. Nothing there. Keep going. Move on. Think about something else. But no, it was there. So, okay. So then fast forward to when we moved to Clay County.
Yep.
Okay. We lived in a house, and I'm not going to say exactly which house. Many of you watching will know which house because you've known me a long time. Many of you aren't, but I'm not going to say which house just in respect for the people that do still live there. But this house was located in Horde, and it was a 2-story house, and it was creepy. It had some serious something or other going on, and multiple things going on.
Well, this is going to be awesome.
Okay.
I'm excited. I want to hear about every little detail.
And there's people out there watching that were like, I really thought a lot of that Beth Cooper until she started talking about our haunted houses. Now I think she's nuts.
It's like, by the way, mark Beth and Stacey off our list to watch.
They're crazy.
They're crazy.
I really, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just being honest with y'all. Well, this is things I experienced, and it was very real when it happened. And I don't know. It's just
I'm beginning to think the common denominator in all these stories might be you. It might be you. Maybe you've got that connection.
Ooh, I don't know.
No, because we've been at the cemetery together and nothing weird happens.
Well, I had one weird thing happen.
One weird thing happen at the cemetery. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll talk about our cemetery
But I do,
experiences.
and I don't want to be identify as somebody that's in touch with the other world, because I feel like as a Christian, the Bible warns against that, and I try to stay away from that. But I do also feel at the same time I can walk into a building and pretty much immediately tell you whether it's haunted or not.
I feel it, yeah.
I feel it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're making notes and they're like, yeah, she's crazy. Okay. But there's other believers out there that are like, yeah, I know what she means. Okay. So this house in Horde.
Okay.
Before I tell you the story, I have to tell you a little bit about how this house is set up. Okay. So as soon as you open the front door, there is immediately inside the door a staircase that goes straight up to the second story. That's important to what I'm going to tell you. Second, when you get upstairs, it's not, at least, I mean, it wasn't then, there was no hallway and there were no doorways. It was just simply one big kind of loft-style bedroom that then opened into a second loft-style bedroom through an open doorway, and then a third one. The third bedroom is the only one that had a door on it. The first two were open to each other. Okay, so whenever I first moved in there to that house, I was the only child at home at that time. My brother did not make the move with us from Saline County back to Clay County, so he stayed down there. So I was the only child at home, and I got to pick which bedroom I wanted. my parents' bedroom, the master bedroom, was downstairs. That was the only room downstairs. The other 3 bedrooms were upstairs, so I got to pick. Well, being a teenager and wanting privacy, I didn't want to pick the one that was right at the top of the stairs because there was no doorway. You could stand at the bottom of the stairs and see into my bedroom.
Yeah.
And basically see from the front door into my bedroom.
Right.
And so I didn't choose that room. I chose the one in the back corner that had the door, the only one that had the door. Mm-hmm. I lived in that bedroom for maybe 2 weeks because every night, as soon as the lights went out, it was like people were whispering all around me. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure it out. My dad said there were birds in the eaves.
Birds going, hey, Beth, how are you?
Going, this is what it sounded like. Like almost like conversation, but you just couldn't make it out.
Yeah.
It was just if you listened really hard, you might be able to, like, what they say, but you couldn't. It was not birds in the eaves. It was there was a time like a year or two later where there was a bird making the nest out there, and it was an entirely different sound. Mm-hmm. But my dad also didn't allow birds in the eaves because he was always like, the gutter. We had just put new siding on, new
He's
gutters.
Not going to let that happen.
Everything was sealed up. It looked great, and there was no birds in the eaves. Whatever, Dad. Okay, but he was trying. I know, Dad, you were just trying to make me feel better. But that whole room had a really weird vibe. Mm-hmm. So I told my mom and dad, I'm like, something weird is in that room. I don't like it. I'm moving to the room that's right by the staircase. Uh-huh. So we we kept that door shut and we used it for storage back there. And I had a little dog and he wouldn't even go near that door.
Oh,
like
animals.
Uh-huh.
Totally.
And if he did get anywhere close to that door, he would whine and cry and run away from that door. And I tried to keep it shut all the time. But you could be near that door and it was almost like you could just hear something going on the other side. And you'd open it and there, of course, was nothing there but some Rubbermaid tubs. Very weird. Okay.
Weird.
So this is where it gets even weirder.
Let's take a commercial break.
Okay, because it's getting ready to get serious here.
It's going down.
It's going down.
We'll be right back.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank. We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
It's the weekend and your symptoms are worsening. The morning of a big meeting and you have a bigger sore throat. Ever experienced that urgency after picking up your sick child and your community health center has already closed? You will be able to connect to a provider at crhpc.org. Even if you have never been to CRHPC, you are welcome to utilize our services. Feel better after scheduling a video visit with CRHPC.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans that the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I was getting ready to tell you all about some weird activities at the house that I lived in when I was a teenager.
Yes.
That was what I consider a haunted house.
Yes. Let's hear it.
All right. So I moved to the front bedroom of the upstairs, which was near the staircase. So you walk in the front door, you go directly upstairs, and then you go like 2 or 3 feet, and there's my bed. Like, it's that close to the stairs. The first night I slept there, it was about 11:20 at night. I heard the front door, the storm door, the screen door open, slam, the big door open, slam, and then somebody race up the stairs as fast as they could to my bedroom. I'm right there, no door, no nothing. And I sit up in bed and I look, and there is not anybody there. Mm-hmm. And I turn on the light. I look around. There's nobody there. I walk downstairs. I wake up my mom and dad, and I said, did one of you go out to the garage? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I think you were dreaming. You need to go back to sleep.
It's the birds.
And I'm like, yeah, it's the birds. Probably.
The birds are walking.
That's probably what he said. It's the birds. And I'm like, I wasn't even asleep is the thing. Yeah. Like, I was a teenager. I was still awake. I was listening to music, and I don't know what I was doing. But I'm just like, okay, that's so weird. And I went and laid back on my bed, and it was around that time where I had a double bed. I always slept on the side closest to the stairs, I guess. I don't know, in case I had to make a quick getaway. I'm not sure. And down by where my feet would be, somebody sat on the edge of the bed facing the stairs. So they just sat down on the bed, and you could feel the end of the bed sink as somebody sat on it. Mm-hmm. My feet were near there, and I could feel like a divot of like where somebody was sitting. Mm-hmm. The staircase is here, and they are facing the stairs.
Yeah, their backs to you.
Yeah, well, yeah, their side is to me.
Their side is to you.
Like, my feet are like here, and they're facing that away toward the stairs. And they sat there all night long. Every single night that I lived there. Every single night.
How did you stand it?
Well, so almost every night. Now, this would not happen every night, but almost every night you would hear screen door open, big door open, everything slams. Somebody, as fast as they could, up the stairs, nobody there. But somebody is sitting on my bed, but it's not the same person that's racing up the stairs, because a lot of times the person on my bed sitting was already there before came up the stairs. Okay? So my belief is that whatever was coming up the stairs was bad news. And whatever was sitting on my bed was protecting me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what was, I don't understand it. I don't know that I even want to understand it. Mm-hmm. But there was at least two entities of some type in this house. One that was going through the same motions every day, running up the stairs for something, and the other that was watching out for me. This went on. I lived there for 4 years, so this went on for probably 2 or 3 years, where this would always happen. And then, but other things were happening around the house too. Things would go missing. Most of the activity was upstairs, but things would go missing downstairs, and everyone was always mad. Like, where'd you put it? I didn't touch it. It had to be you. No, I didn't touch it. It had to be you. And like, I can remember back then, my dad carried a pager, and I can remember finding his pager because it had been missing, and he'd just laid it on the counter, and it was like back behind his dresser, between the dresser and the wall. Yeah. But like, how it couldn't have just got knocked off and there. It like had to have been pushed through the crack to get back there.
Right, yeah.
Very odd. The remote was always missing, and we would, which that happens in a lot of houses. That's easy to brush off. Hey, the remote's lost. That happens to everybody. But it would be like, we would all be searching for the remote, couldn't find it. And then we'd leave the room and come back, and it would be sitting smack dab in the middle of the living room carpet. I mean, almost like perfectly placed in the center of the room. Yeah. And it was like, obviously that wasn't there before. We've walked past it 100 times, and we would never lay it in the carpet.
Now, did your parents ever come to the realization that this was really happening?
I think my dad would say no, he never did. And if he'd never admitted anyway.
Never admitted it.
And then my mom, I do think maybe toward the end, believed me and had a couple of weird things happen to her as well. But so somewhere around year 2, probably, or 3 of me living there is when I first heard an actual voice. And I was laying in bed. I was not asleep. I had just turned out the lights, and somebody said my name. Beth, like that. But it was like in my ear, like really close to me. And no, I don't have voices in my head. I wasn't crazy. I don't have any mental illness, but I never heard it again. It was just that. And I hightailed it out of there. And I would think I was either 14 or 15 years old. And I slept in my mom and dad's floor that night. I was terrified. Like something is up there and it knows my name and it's talking. And, you know, we just brushed it off. But I slept downstairs for a while after that. And we actually we had a dining room area that we didn't really use as a dining room. It was kind of an overflow area. We just had decorations in there and stuff. And we put a little tiny twin-size bed in there. And I slept downstairs for a long time after that. And okay, so the timeline gets a little messed up in my head about when all this happened. But through these years, we had an exchange student. And she came from Panama and lived with us for one school year, and then she loved us so much she ended up coming back again for the next school year, part of the year. And her room was the second room upstairs, so not the one that had the door. We still kept that shut off, but her room was attached to mine. And first night we were there, you know, we just met each other, just met that evening, you know, and didn't tell her anything about the house because one, I didn't think she was crazy moving in with a bunch of crazy people. Two, I didn't want to scare her. Three, I was young and I still thought, maybe this is only happening to me and nothing's going to happen to her. First night she climbs in bed. She's in her bed for probably 30 or 40 minutes. She gets out of her bed. She comes and gets in bed with me, cuddles up to me and said, "You didn't tell me your house was haunted."
Where was she from?
Panama. She was from Panama.
Panama.
Yeah, and I said, "What happened?"
What happened?
And she talked about the whispering behind the door. She talked about the voices, and she felt somebody sit on her bed. Okay. So then I'm like, oh, and she heard the stare. She heard the. That's what happened. She came in right after the whole of the evening, which by that point I just kind of like, well, here it comes. And then I was hoping she wouldn't hear it because she was in a room away. And that's when she came in and then she was like, what was that? And so then I had this long talk with her and she was probably thinking, what did I get myself into? But honestly, like nothing evil was ever done to us. Like nothing, we weren't hurt in any way.
They were just letting you know they were there.
But it
does sound like the one was protecting.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think that the weird thing about the voice that said my name was that it was my own voice that said it. It sounded exactly like me.
Like you saying it to yourself?
Yes, but I didn't, and I wasn't. And so then I moved out when I was 18 and moved to Flora. I was going to school at Olney, and I wanted to move to Olney, but the apartments over there were a lot more expensive. So I was going to get an apartment in Flora that I could afford, but then this small little trailer came up for sale, and I actually bought my own home at age 18. It was a trailer, but I bought it because I could make the payments on that for cheaper than I could rent something.
Sure.
Which actually worked out very well for us because Jason and I lived there after we got married and made some money. By the time we sold it, I actually sold it for more than what I bought it for.
Cool.
But anyway, it was. I lived there. I don't remember what part of this I was at, but I lived there until I was 18. And I was in a hurry to move out, mainly because I was so tired of the house.
Well, yeah, you would never really sleep well there.
No, I never felt like I got a good night's sleep there ever. But I know what I was going to say. The voice that sounded like mine. There was a night where my mom called me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay," because I thought I just heard you say "mom," and I hope she doesn't care. I hope she's not mad at me for saying that on TV. But she heard my voice say "mom," and I'm like, "It's whatever is in that house."
Been telling you about that for a few years. You're surprised.
But no, I think my mom did believe me. My dad was just skeptical.
They never would. Oh, yeah.
But you can't blame him for being skeptical whenever he didn't actually have anything happen to him.
Right.
Because I don't think that stuff really for some reason, I think a lot of men, not all, because I know a few men that do believe and have seen some stuff, but a lot of men, it's just like they can't penetrate that.
No.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't have a...
So the story I'm going to tell you is I didn't live in the house, but it's a house that we purchased.
Okay.
After we bought our house in 1990, then we bought the house on the west side of us, and that's where our garage is at. And then the house on the east side of us came up for sale. This house actually set on East Drive. So, like, my front of my house is on Fair Avenue. This house faces East Drive.
Okay.
So, like, our backyards butted up to our homes.
Okay.
But it was very close to our house. So I told Jim, after the gentleman that had lived there, he passed away. And I said, well, that's really close to our property. I want to try to purchase this house. So I bought the house. Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful home. It was like a full two-story with a basement salt box.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people had like this light green old siding on it, and it didn't really have a front porch, but it did have like a really nice, grand, beautiful entrance to it. Mm-hmm. So I bought this house. Now, remember, I had bought Barney Hutchins' house to the west of me and had fixed it up and everything. Didn't have any problems with that house. Rented it for a while, then tore it down, and we built our garage. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I can do this. I've done it before. Mm-hmm. So we buy this house. Jim goes in, and he does some cleaning stuff out. And but I go in, and I'm painting. We're ripping up because it had carpet, so it's got beautiful hardwood floors, so we're ripping up carpet. He's downstairs. I'm upstairs. Mm-hmm. This house, like when you walked in, it was kind of like when you walked into the front door, there were stairs that went upstairs, mm-hmm. but like right here was the living room, and mm-hmm. then a dining room and a kitchen, and then to the left of the stairs was like a hallway, and then there was like a basement that went down, and then like you could go, so like you could like do a circle in this house. Mm-hmm. Okay. Upstairs, when you walked upstairs, immediately there was a bathroom, and then you went down the hallway, and there was a bedroom and a bedroom.
Okay.
Okay? There were no bedrooms downstairs. I can't remember if there was a half bath downstairs, basically one of those. But yeah, I think there were 3 bedrooms upstairs. But one of the bedrooms was really weird because you could only get through it through another bedroom.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It was one of those.
That's how the upstairs was of that
house.
That's how these houses sound very similar.
They do, because when you were explaining yours, it's like, so like I always thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Well, so Jim, he's cleaning it up, and we're going to rent it out. A friend of mine, who is not crazy, was going to rent it, and she came, and I said, hey, if you want to rent this house, she had a granddaughter she was raising. I said, hey, I'll give you, if you want to help me paint it, I said, we will go in there, and we'll paint it together, and I'll give you a break. You won't have to make a down payment, none of that stuff, okay? She was like, great. So I'm like, okay. So I started, because it was a big house, right? I'm upstairs in the northeast bedroom.
I feel like we should stop right there to take our commercial break. Is it time?
We're getting close. Yeah.
I feel like that is a cliffhanger right there.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a break.
We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have Galaxy Bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting the work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
The insurance specialists have options to tailor to your needs at CSI Insurance Brokers. Experienced insurance brokers at CSI are skilled with all types of insurance plans and policies and represent many companies, including Safeco Insurance. You'll benefit from their detailed expertise, unbeatable premiums, and commitment to customer service. CSI Insurance Brokers and Safeco Insurance Company, providing affordable rates on quality insurance since 1952.
For over 50 years, at your locally owned and operated Royal King Supply in Salem and Olney, we've helped you and your neighbors enjoy an easy country lifestyle. We carry the most thorough sporting goods department around with a huge variety of hunting and fishing gear, camping equipment, and a variety of firearms for any need. Our team is here to help you find whatever you need. Open every day, it's Royal King in Salem and Olney, your locally owned farm and home store.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. Today we're talking ghost stories.
We are talking our personal.
Yes, personal encounters of the, what is that, the third kind?
Of the third kind.
Is that,
not aliens.
Is that aliens? I don't
aliens.
know. I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, we're talking about this house that we had bought on East Drive. And so I'm renting it to my friend. And so I'm upstairs in this northeast bedroom. Never really went down to the basement much, but I'm just up there and I'm playing music. This was, I didn't have my phone with me. We don't have phones at this time. Mm-hmm. I just got my little boom box with my music and I'm painting away and I've got my back to the door and all of a sudden there's just every hair on your body and I'm like,
What was there?
What was there? Just kept painting, and then the next thing you know, it happens again, and I'm getting chills thinking about it because it still freaks me out. I'm just painting, and then it's like, okay. I'm like, okay, this is super weird. So I'm like, you're a weirdo. Just keep going. So, because I wasn't raised, I didn't live in a house haunted. So I'm still painting, and then all of a sudden, and I have my hair up, and all of a sudden I hear on the back of my neck.
Oh, you could hear it and feel it, or you just heard it?
Both.
Oh,
a blow on my neck, and I'm like, that done. Went downstairs. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Walked outside, and I went and told Jim. I said, I'm telling you what. I said, there is something weird in that house. Oh, for the love of God, Stacey, of course you. I said, no, seriously, something just blew on my neck, and I'm feeling it. It's like somebody's standing behind you. And he's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm not painting. I'm done. So anyway, the next day, my friend comes over, and I'm like, okay. So I said, hey,
You just threw her to the wolves, so you didn't even tell her?
I started painting that upstairs bedroom, the northeast bedroom. If we want to go up there, I'll be down here in the kitchen, and I'll, start cleaning up and stuff like that. She's like, okay, great. I said, everything's already up there. Literally, probably dried out because I just walked out the door. And then so she went upstairs, and then I could hear her. She turns on my radio, and she's just painting. About 5 minutes later, she went, Stacey. And I went, yeah? She's like, are you here in the house? I said, yeah, I'm downstairs. Oh, okay. Music starts up again. Painting. It wasn't even 10 minutes later. Click. Stacey.
Yeah.
Then I hear her walk to the top of the stairs. Hey, what are you doing? I said, oh, I'm just down here in the kitchen. How's the painting going? Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. And I'm thinking, I am not crazy. It's happening to her too. She goes back in. I hear the click. She's painting again. It's not even 30 seconds. Boom. Down the stairs, and she says, what's going on? I said, oh my gosh, you feel it too? She's like, you put me. I said, yes. Jim thinks I'm crazy. And she's like, I don't want to live here. I don't want to live in this house. Okay,
yeah,
I get it.
Agreed.
So she doesn't. We tell Jim. He thinks we're both crazy.
And she had never had anything, and you at that point had never had any weirdness happen. Okay.
Single mom. Well, the very first person I rented to was a single man. He lived there, and then he moved out and they all went to Paris, and then my friend. So this is the first female in the house. The male had no trouble.
So wait, just to set this straight, the first lady you were going to rent it to, your friend, she didn't rent it.
No,
so
she
then
did
you
not.
rented it to a man.
No, the man was first.
Okay.
The very first person that rented it was a single man.
Okay.
And he lived there for about a year.
And he didn't have any issues.
Now I'm cleaning it up. My friend is going to move in.
Okay.
She's in the house for less than 30 minutes. Is like I'm not moving in.
Got it. Okay.
Now, so I told Jim. So I put it out there. So then the next thing you know, I have a single mom with 2 children call me. Yeah, I'd like to rent your house. I'll say, oh, great. So she comes in. She moves in. She pays her deposit. She's there within 2 weeks. I'm like, man, I haven't seen much movement over there. I go into the house, in the kitchen. There's my deposit and my rent and a note that says we can't live here. 2 weeks. I told Jim, oh, you women, that man never had any trouble. I said, I'm telling you what, something's not right. Third renter, female. She calls me up. She says, my husband and I, we're moving to Chicago. She's from Golconda.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I are moving to Chicago. We're migrating. He's a truck driver. I'm going to move in Florida. I only want to rent for about 5 months till we find a place in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's fine. Meet me at the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
She meets me at the front of O East Drive. I open up the door. She walks in. She looks up the stairs and says, I can't live here. I just left a haunted house in Golconda. Didn't even make it in the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Told Jim. Oh my gosh, you women are so crazy. So now I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do now. So I'm just going to let it sit empty. I'm not doing this. I'm fixing hair for a girl's wedding in Effingham. Sitting there, and I'm doing this girl's hair. You know, she's a bridesmaid like that. She's sitting there, and she said, I heard you bought my dad's house. I said, yep, I sure did. She said, you ever go in there by yourself? Not anymore.
Uh-huh.
And she went, so you've seen him? I said, him? And she said, yes. She said, there is a man that haunts that house, and he hates women. Her bedroom was the northeast bedroom.
Oh,
I'm
no.
getting chills again.
Yeah, me
Her
too.
bedroom is the northeast bedroom. She said, never go in there by yourself without a man. She said, when I was a teenager, my parents were divorced. My dad, it wasn't her dad, because I thought maybe it might be the man I bought of that died.
Oh, right. Yeah, no.
But
so it wasn't her dad.
It wasn't her dad. She said she was sleeping one day, and she woke up, and there was a gentleman hovering over her. She said from that point on, when she visited her dad, she said she slept with him in his bed. She would not sleep there. She's like, he's a man and he hates women. I have no idea whatever happened. This was before research and stuff really happened.
Yeah.
And I went, really? I said, I've been in there trying to paint it. She said, did he blow on you? I said, yeah, right on my neck. She's like, he was right behind you. And I'm like, yeah. So I went back. I told Jim this story.
What did he say?
Oh, my God, you. I said, Jim, I'm done. We're done with this house. I said, so I'm just going to eat the payment. I'll consolidate it with my hair salon loan. I don't know. I said, I'm not renting this. This house is not safe. So money got a little bit tight, so I rented it to a man and a woman and their 3 children. They moved in. They were there for about 5 or 6 months. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There was a man in the house.
Okay.
He never messed with men.
Okay.
They never noticed anything happening. But then they ended up moving on somewhere else, whatever. So then they did it again. I said, I'm not renting this house. I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm just going to make the outside look nice.
Yeah.
And I had never been in the basement. So a friend of Jim's is over there, and I'm just going to make the outside. So I'm like scraping. I'm like sitting on the east side of the house, and like there's like the window to the, like where you could see into the basement.
Yeah.
So I'm down low, and I'm scraping paint, and I'm scraping, and I'm washing windows because I'm just going to make it look nice. Jim's over in our yard talking to a friend of his, and I'm scraping, and I'm just like,
what did you see?
I just sat there, and I'm like,
what?
And I go, what? And I take and I wipe off my rag, and there is a man in a flannel shirt standing in the corner
of the basement.
And then for a second there, but it felt like for 5 seconds he was right here, because I'm like, and I'm like, oh man, what is going on? And I'm like, geez, whatever. And I got one window scraped, and I'm like, Jim, come over here. And I'm like, I can't even scrape. There is somebody watching me on the inside. And he was like, so he gets down there. He's like, honey, you have lost. I said, Jim, I am telling you, this house, something's wrong with this house. Something's wrong with this house. And he said, well, if you really feel that way. I said, there's a dude down there looking.
Was it, and the whole time you were talking to Jim, could you still see him?
Nope.
He had disappeared.
He was gone. Nope, not a thing. But I was just like, clean. I'm like, is there somebody? It felt like he was right here. And I'm like, I'm out. So this is done. So literally I let that house sit empty for a while. And then I got enough money to pay it off, and I consolidated, and I tore the house down. I had Jim tear it down. Very interesting story. So, like, the hardwood floor that's in our back family room, Jim's he's a scavenger. It had beautiful hardwood. That's the hardwood floor out of that house.
Oh.
I was a little bit hesitant because I'm thinking, I hope whatever's in there doesn't come with the house.
Yeah.
So my husband was like, so I'm telling people all these stories. And Jim's like, Jim's tearing it down, and he's like partway tearing it down. This was a lot to tear down. And somebody said, well, Stacey, where's that ghost going to go whenever he tears that house down? And I'm like, somebody said, well, it usually would go to the next house. It will find another house. And I'm like, well, I hope it goes to the east and not to the west, And I'm like, oh, my God. And Jim says, if you think I'm going to tear this house down but make a tree house out of that bedroom, second-story bedroom, you've lost your mind. And I was just like, it was really weird. So I was kind of freaked out about it. So we tore it down, covered it all, everything's done. And about 2 weeks later, that was when Sassy, my little Shih Tzu, I had Sassy, and I'm sitting, and I'm like, sitting in the back family room, and I'm sitting like in our back family room, there's like a big breezeway, and there's like a stairway that goes upstairs. Sassy, my dog, who always sat on my lap, was sitting on my lap. For some reason, she decides to jump down. And she goes and she sits at the bottom of our stairs, looking up. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, Sassy, come here. Come here, Sassy. She looks at me, and then she looks right back up, and she just sits and looks up on our staircase. And I'm like, oh, he's here. He's followed me here. She did that for about 2 weeks and then finally quit.
And you haven't had anything?
No,
yet.
I never did. But it freaked me out because Sassy was there. Mm-hmm. But for the longest time, even after like the house was gone, the basement was filled in, and we had grass growing for the longest time, I would not walk. I would always use the backyard. It was only gosh darn it, this has been years. I've lived in my house for 32 years. Mm-hmm. I bought this house it's been gone probably 22 years. Uh-huh. And to this day, I really don't I wouldn't even walk across the ground. Mm-hmm. For a long time, because it freaked me out. You just always felt that presence. Uh-huh. And now I don't really just walk. Lately, about the last 4 or 5 years, I've been, because we bought another house and tore it down, so I have been. But it took me years to even walk. He's like, you really won't even walk across that land. I said, you have no idea what it felt like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
It is crazy.
And it's real to,
it was real to me.
You may want to deny it. You may not believe in it. And I'm happy for you that you've never been in a position like that. Mm-hmm. But when you are put in a position like that, you suddenly switch from a non-believer to a believer in a heartbeat.
Well, and I've always been a believer, just had never felt it until that moment. But like I said, you can't, that's too coincidental. You just can't.
Oh, yeah.
No, it definitely was real. Yeah.
So, okay. So that is our haunted house stories for today.
Yeah, I
so
knew
hopefully we didn't scare you too badly, but let's end on a good note.
Here's a good note.
Okay.
This is our quote for the day. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream.
Oh, I love that.
That is from C.S. Lewis.
Of course, he's the best.
Yes.
You're never too old
to set another goal or to dream a new dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm a dreamer.
I'm a dreamer. I'm a total dreamer.
I love to set goals and big dreams, and I don't make half of them happen, but
it don't always happen.
I feel like
I feel like if one happens out of 20, you did good.
I think if you don't have any goals or big dreams, like it would be hard to get out of bed every day.
What are you striving for?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Have fun. That was a good show, but we just wanted to share with you our haunted house experience.
So get ready for the rest of October because it's going to be a fun month with us. So
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it is going to be great.
All right. Well, anyway, we are done.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on By the Way with Beth and Stacey.
God bless you. Have a great day.